Hey guys, how's it going? In today's video, I want to show you this really fun project I've been working on lately. It's these little paperweights made out of dried flowers that I grew in my garden, and I thought you guys might like to see them and maybe learn how to make them yourself because they're not expensive to make, they're easy, they're fast, and it's a really fun way to kind of preserve some of the things that you've grown yourself. And you know, I don't know if people actually use paperweights these days, like on their desk to weigh down papers. You certainly could use these for that, but it's more for decorative, I think. I think you could set them anywhere in your house, on a coffee table or something. I guarantee if you have family or friends that come over, they will pick it up and look at it and think, oh my gosh, that is so cool, you have flowers in there. And then you can tell them how you made it yourself. So anyway, it's super easy. I have a bunch of stuff here on the table that I just thought I would show you. I'm only gonna make one today for the video. But you can use multiple different things. Like I've got some dried ornamental oregano, limelight hydrangea this is incredible hydrangea that's been dried. And then I've got just a bunch of other random things. There's some little pine cones here. This is a safflower seed head that I've dried. There's some statice, which you can get really inexpensively, usually at a grocery store, like in the cut flower section. You can let it dry out. It maintains its color really well. What else? Straw flowers, which I grew in my garden actually a couple years ago. I've had these for a while. And then I brought over some gorgeous blooms from my Tough Stuff AHA hydrangeas, just because they're so beautiful. Now these are not dried, and the risk that you run if you don't use dried flowers is that they will change color inside the paperweight. So like right here, let me bring this one over. I started with a bloom that was this color for this paperweight, and it kind of like dried it inside the paperweight, and it's still very pretty. But if you wanted it to be this color, you want to start with a dried one before you put it in the resin. So the supplies you need for this project are very minimal. Of course, you need your casting resin. This is clear polyester casting resin, which you can get on Amazon or at a craft store, and you do not have to get a container this big. You can get one smaller if you just want to make a few paperweights. This one will make quite a number of them. It always comes with a catalyst. So this is something that we'll add into the resin once we get it into our mixing cup. And this creates a chemical reaction which heats up the resin and helps cure it or harden it. This is super helpful to have. So see, this cup right here has actual measurements written right onto the cup. They're just disposable plastic cups I ordered on Amazon. Makes the process so much easier. And then of course you need your mold, which you can get for just a couple of dollars. This one is a 4-ounce, just half, like a dome, half circle mold. And then I just use a wooden skewer that I had in my kitchen to stir it, and you can use like a toothpick or a popsicle stick or whatever you want. And then of course dried flowers, and I think I'm going to do kind of a mixed bag for this one. I'm going to use all 4 of these things right here. So the first thing I need to do, since I know that this holds 4 ounces, I'm going to measure out 4 ounces of my resin into the cup. And you guys, it's a good idea to do this one outside, and I'm going to go grab a paper towel first because it's quite smelly, like it'll smell up your entire house. So the amount of catalyst you're going to be adding to your resin will completely depend on the size of mold you're using. There's all different kinds of molds. There's orbs, there's like pyramid shape. You can get really creative with this kind of thing. You just follow the guide. There's a little guide on the back of the can right here that will tell you exactly how much to use. So I know based on that I need to use 16 drops in this cup. Okay, so then I just use my skewer and you just stir it for 60 seconds. Then we're going to pour it into the mold. And now is the fun part. So you can start setting your stuff inside the resin. So as we set everything in here, it's going to all want to float to the top. So we're going to set our timer for 10 minutes. And at that point, usually it takes about 10 to 20 minutes. So I like to check it at 10 minutes and then 15 and then 20. The resin will set up into kind of more of a jelly-like consistency, and at that point we can use our skewer to push everything back down into the exact position we want it. So we'll set our timer. So it's been about 10 minutes and it does look like this is the right consistency. See, when I push that straw flower down, it stays kind of more where I want it to be instead of floating right back up to the top. And so this is the time where you just want to mess around with everything inside the resin and get it kind of positioned the way you think that you want it to look like in the end. Now when I do this inside, it takes closer to 20 minutes for the resin to set up because it's a lot cooler in there, but we are outside, so it took just under 10 minutes. So it's something that you really want to check every 1 or 2 minutes. So I think I've got everything in there how I want it to, and I honestly don't think that you can mess these up. I think you could just throw stuff in there and it'll look really pretty. And then you'll see like the safflower is a little bit tall for this mold, and that's okay because I am putting a felt bottom on this one. You don't have to put a bottom on them. In fact, let me show you a couple of examples here. So I've got this one that has straw flowers in it with no bottom. So you can see it kind of just picks up whatever color is behind it. But then this one right here, I put kind of the sky blue felt bottom, which makes it nice to be on surfaces because it just slides really easy, protects your surface, and then it brings a little bit of depth of color too and contrast if you've got something that's not quite as brightly colored. All right, so I'm just gonna let this one sit and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all set up. Okay, so it's been over 4 hours, so now it's time to get it out of its mold. Sometimes you have to kind of work with the mold a little bit, just kind of like moving it back and forth to release it. But this one actually feels pretty loose, look at that. Comes right out. So I just did a sampler for this one just so you could see what different things look like inside. So there's the safflower, a straw flower, some statice, and then a few little pine cones. And then I also wanted to show you how to put a bottom on one. So you can get these little like cork coasters at the craft store. They come in like a pack of 4. So if you want to put cork underneath, you could sure do that, and that would help protect your surface. I like putting color underneath them because it makes them kind of pop and makes them a little bit bright. See, look at how that looks right there. The blue. I got a few different colors here that I think are pretty. I think I'm gonna go with green with this one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut a little square first. And then I've got some glue here. This is just quick hold glue. You can get this at the craft store as well. And I'm gonna apply it to the bottom because like I said, remember the safflower is a little taller. So the felt will kind of help take care of that difference. Just apply that all over. And then we'll put our felt on. And then you just need a good pair of scissors to cut right around the edge. So I'm gonna do that real quick. And there you have it, felt on the bottom. Choose whatever color you want, anything that like corresponds. But also you can see how these hydrangea flowers dried just in the time that they were sitting here on the table. So the difference being, like I said earlier, if you put them into the resin fresh, they'll kind of dry into a brown color. The same thing happened with this lavender right here. This was like purple lavender when I put it in fresh, and it turned this brown color, which is still really pretty. But if you let them dry in their natural color, they'll maintain that color when you put them down in the resin. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of different ways you can take this project, and I just think they're really sweet and they're really interesting to look at. So now I'm gonna go place these around my house. We'll get some pictures so you guys can get some ideas on how you can use them. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.